What are people dying of? Yellow fever. Oh. It does seem like I have a small outbreak. Small enough to be ignored, though. So, population numbers are just about to round out to 2,700. I still have a nice bit of space to expand into before I have to start getting worried. I do need some more of them chapels up, though. 2,600 people, divide that by 200, that should be 13? 13 clerics? Wait, what? Oh. Oh, so I'm just barely over the chapel amount. So I need one more, and then I'd be good. Up to 2,800 at least. Well, what do I do with this area? So I already have plans to kind of expand these areas out slowly with extra food production along with this one. I'm not sure where else though I'm going. Like if I plan on expanding this with food production, fields and stuff all out through here. And preferably the fields themselves would be outside of the market's range. It's alright for them to be clipped in a little bit, like, you know, that's acceptable. A small acceptable amount of waste. I almost have 200 woodcutters now. Holy crap. That's a lot of resource processing. Ooh, that reminds me, I should check on my apple stocks. Just to make sure my inventories... Yeah, my inventories are sticking at about 160,000 for apples. So I don't need to worry too much there. And I also have some warm coats now. That's nice. 85% education rate. I would like this area to be mostly farming, but I get the feeling that if I'm having like farms all the way out to here, they're going to start getting really ineffective with people having to walk all the way from here. So maybe I should plop down another market somewhere over there. But stipulation, make it so that the housing around it is very sparse and just have a whole bunch of farmers. Because I have plenty of free labor for doing whatever the hell else I want to do. This up here should probably be a forest node, even though it's across a river. Yeah, I think that would work. Or I could try to place it further back, but I feel like those hills would really start to bring down the numbers. Late spring, I'm down to 590,000 food. I should check in on my town hall. See what the production looks like, graphs look like. Yeah, you can see it's kind of spiky now. A little bit more than I'd like it to be. 25 year, 10 year. Yeah, nothing worrying about that. I just hope that I don't end up overexpanding just that little bit and like have to go into crisis management mode, you know? 'Cause I've had that happen too often. I should check the production numbers for these guys. 776, good. 582, decent. 476, horrible. What? Okay. And 786, also good. Very nice. Overall, good grade. So especially on these edges, I could continue making more foresting nodes. Like that border's right there. And then this area is kind of nice and circular, I get the feel. It just needs a river crossing. And that would leave only this area for farming, which I feel would be nice. But at the same time, I know farms can produce a lot more than these little forest nodes. These forest nodes can produce up to like 2,000, 3,000 food when you stack a hunting cabin and a gatherer's hut. But, I mean, for the space it takes up, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 7, probably more like 8, 11 by 11 farms that could be fit in there. And that means 8 times, you know, let's give it a conservative 500 food each. That's still bringing you up to 4,000. And usually 500 is a pretty piss poor harvest for any given 11 by 11 field. I was also thinking of maybe doing orchards. Because with all the taverns and stuff that I have, it would be nice to get some extra apples just laying around, getting produced. I wonder if an herbalist can produce off of an orchard. Because if that's the case, that'd be a very effective way to do things. You could just have orchards all over the place and an herbalist set up like in the middle. You should see that this town hasn't changed much at all. Except for the fact that I'm down to 560,000 food. Well, fuck. I know I jumped my population numbers up pretty high, but I am still kind of surprised that I lost out that much food. I guess there's also a dependency on how much I'm producing, but looking at the trend there, that's a pretty steep decline. Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to use 300,000 food a year. I'm producing about 50,000. So, I mean, it's believable that my trade is making up a 250,000 food deficit line. I guess this is just the point where I really need to, before laying out new city areas, I need to just jump into more and more trading. Or more and more farming. I need to be expanding my farms whenever and wherever I can, I suppose. Although I also need to make sure that there's place for the farmers to actually store what they're making. Well, I guess there's not really too much of a choice but to see how much the food fluctuates year over year. Because I can't really say that I need to break out more farms instantaneously when I'm not even sure if I'm just like having a bad year. I am over 2.7k now though. Oh geez. Yeah, that storage barn is full now, so definitely need to get more storage barns established. Oh, the single tile. Should I try to fill in that gap, or... Crap, I have no idea. It might honestly be better just to cancel that production, or cancel the construction of those houses, and move in another 11 by 11 field over here somewhere. There we go. Really? Alright. I want to leave a space for a road, but I suppose I'm not going to be allowed to do that. I guess what I could keep doing with this town is keep growing it out and growing out until eventually it crashes. Like, there will be a point where it's still sustainable, even though it's really, really big. But I think it'll be fun just to keep going until, you know, oblivion awaits. Okay, so obviously I can't get those crop fields there. What I could get are orchards. Just like I mentioned before, I'm not quite competent when it comes to laying out large farming communities. I mean, I did it for like my first city or two. That's what I tried to focus on. And it didn't work out very well. That doesn't mean that I couldn't try and maybe make it work. but I'm thinking I'm not the kind for farming, generally speaking. Also make sure that I'm staying within the market. Yeah, these houses are a little bit out of the market sphere, but I figure they'll work out. Just because they're that touch out, they're not gonna have too much of a decrease in their efficiencies and inefficiencies, especially not with food stored nearby, I don't think. Alright, well, it's autumn, and I'm still at 560,000 food. Ugh. Usually in autumn, you're seeing everything getting harvested, so you would expect food numbers to really raise and bump up, but apparently not this time. So let me see, my production numbers, food, yeah, we're up to 35,000 now, almost. So that means my food deficit is maybe coming from trading, I don't know. I guess I could check through and make sure all of my places are importing and purchasing food. I believe all of them are, maybe with the exception of very few. So I found one that wasn't purchasing food. I doubt that changing one trading post, though, is going to start taking me skyrocketing towards the food cap again, though. Yeah, a lot of these I had set not to buy the maximum amount of food that they could. And that really wasn't too smart of an idea, I guess. Since I am capping out a lot of these places. I'm sure that doesn't matter too much, but for some reason I just feel a necessity coming on towards making sure that literally everything that possibly can is bringing in as much food. Here's with the fact that my traders, all the trading that I have is set up already, and that's not going to change. I need to make sure everything is just as optimized as can be in order to get even just a little bit more population out of this place. Or a little bit more support for that population, I guess. Yeah, we're at late autumn, and my food count is still going down. To the point where I'm now seriously dipping below where I was beforehand. So this might mean that I was not ready to accept in those nomads. I do still have a lot of a buffer zone, so I might be able to fix things before I get down way too far. It also looks like my ale count is going down. Huh. I expected my ale count to keep on rising, actually. Just considering the number of taverns I have. How much food did I manage to produce this year? Was I just low? A little bit. I mean, there's a little bit of time to make up that difference, but... and I don't see 6,000 being enough of a difference to really cause this precipitous drop in my food supply. Yeah, you can see that that's a big drop. I mean, I guess it could just be a bad trading year, but I'm used to seeing a drop and then a rebound, drop and a rebound. And that was the average sort of year-over-year thing. Oh, crap. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Although now that we're in winter, my food stocks seem to be rising, which is weird. Maybe people eat less during the winter. In any case, though, I need more food. Ah, of course. Well, I'm not one who usually would do this, but I could remove those roads so that I could plop down 15 by 4s there. Because otherwise it's just going to be 11 by 11. And actually, removing that road and then throwing down the 11 by 11 means I can fit some housing in there.